50 Cent just pressed the nuclear button on the music industry. We all thought his latest documentary was about street beef, but the leaked DNA records tell a darker story. A story about Project Double Take. Through exclusive access to biometric facial recognition software, 50 Cent is proving that the man sitting in that Atlanta courtroom, the man we call Young Thug, is not Jeffrey Williams. Pause and Kodak Black? The man who walked out of those federal gates? The genetic markers don't match. The elite thought they could swap our icons with biological proxies to keep the money flowing while the real stars are held in secret, off-book custody. But they forgot one thing. 50 Cent doesn't just make movies. He makes enemies out of the people who think they can play God. Whisper, the clones are here. And today, we're showing you the footage they tried to ban. To understand how the music industry became a high-tech laboratory, you have to look at the man who's been pulling the curtain back for 20 years. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. This isn't just a rapper. This is a man who survived 9 bullets and came back with a different perspective on life and death. For years, 50 has been hinting that the industry isn't what it seems. He's called out the Diddy parties, the secret rituals, and the hidden handlers. But in early 2026, his mission changed. It stopped being about street beef and started being about biological identity theft. The world was already on edge. With the rise of AI-generated music and deepfake technology, the line between real and digital had already blurred. But 50 Cent's latest documentary project, tentatively titled The Proxy Records, has uncovered a disturbing federal conspiracy that goes back decades. According to leaked memos from a now-defunct Department of Justice contractor, the elite realized a long time ago that their biggest assets, their rappers, were too volatile. They get arrested. They start riots. They die young. And when a billion-dollar artist like Young Thug or Kodak Black goes to prison, the stock prices of these major labels don't just dip, they crash. So, what was the solution? 50 Cent's investigation suggests that a secret program, funded by the same people who control the global streaming platforms, developed a way to stabilize the investment. It's called the double-blind protocol. The theory is that when an artist faces a sentence of 10 years or more, they are retired to a private, luxury facility, a gilded cage, while a biological double, a clone grown from harvested DNA, takes their place in the federal system. This double is programmed to endure the trial, sit in the cell, and keep the public pacified, while the real artist's voice is used to train AI models that can churn out new music for the next 50 years. The context here is crucial. Look at the history of Young Thug's RICO case. It's been the longest-running criminal trial in Georgia's history.
Why?
Pause. 50 Cent's leak suggests the delay wasn't about legal maneuvers, it was about calibration. They needed time to perfect the proxy that would sit in that chair every single day. 50 Cent has been watching these courtroom live streams with a team of elite biometric experts. He noticed that the thugger in court doesn't have the same micro-expressions as the thugger from the slime language era. The eyes are vacant. The motor skills are slightly delayed. It's like watching a high-fidelity simulation struggling to keep up with real-time human interaction. And then there's the Kodak Black paradox. We all saw the miracle pardon from the Trump administration. But did we ever stop to ask, who actually walked out of that prison? 50 Cent's team has analyzed the Pompano legend since his 2021 release. He's been arrested a dozen times since then, but he always seems to slip through the cracks.
Why?
Because the person being arrested isn't the real Bill Cajon Capri. It's a replaceable asset. 50 Cent exposed a leaked email from a high-level music executive that simply read, "The Pompano unit is malfunctioning again. Send it back for a reset." Exaggerated pause. It sounds like science fiction, right? But for the American hip-hop community, especially those who've seen the industry eat its own children for decades, this feels like the only explanation that makes sense. The industry was bound to explode. The tension between the real and the manufactured had reached a breaking point. 50 Cent just happened to be the one to light the fuse. He's positioning himself as the only human left in a game full of holograms and genetic copies. But the most chilling part of this background? 50 Cent claims that this technology wasn't just used for rappers. He's suggesting that the entire federal prison system has become a testing ground for human-sourced AI. If you've wondered why your favorite stars look different, act different, and sound like a machine, it's because they might just be one. The stage is set. The evidence is leaked. And as 50 Cent said in a now-deleted IG Live, you can't sue a dead man, and you can't jail a man who doesn't exist. The game is rigged, and I'm the only one with the cheat codes. But wait, if these rappers are clones, what happened to the real ones? You won't believe the location 50 Cent just uncovered in a secret black site in rural Georgia. We're going there next. The air in the music industry didn't just turn cold on February 20th, 2026, it turned clinical. It happened at 3:33 a.m., an hour known in the streets as the Devil's Hour, when a secure file was uploaded to a private Gnet server and then leaked across X and Instagram. This wasn't a diss track. It wasn't a lawsuit. It was a digital autopsy of the hip-hop industry. 50 Cent, the man who has spent the last decade becoming the most feared documentarian in Hollywood, released a 15-page dossier titled Inmate Identity Verification: The Proxy Protocols. Within minutes, the internet was in a state of absolute, unadulterated panic. The core of this explosive conflict? A series of leaked DNA sequencing logs from a private medical contractor that handles federal inmate transfers. Picture the scene. You're scrolling through your feed, and you see a side-by-side biometric scan of Young Thug from 2019 and the man sitting in the Atlanta courtroom in 2026. But it's not just a fan edit. It's overlaid with professional facial recognition software used by international intelligence agencies. The data points, the distance between the tear ducts, the specific curvature of the earlobes, and the alignment of the jawbone, showed a staggering 42% mismatch. In the world of high-level forensics, a 5% mismatch is a red flag. A 42% mismatch means you are looking at a different species of human being. 50 Cent's caption was short, cold, and calculated. The math don't add up because the person in the chair didn't come from a womb. He came from a lab. Hashtag Project Doubletake. The conflict erupted instantly. Within an hour, high-level executives from the major labels, the ones who hold the contracts for the biggest icons in the game, reportedly went into emergency lockdown. Secretly recorded audio, allegedly from a leaked Zoom call between industry lawyers, surfaced on a burner account. You can hear the tremor in their voices. One executive is heard screaming, "How did Jackson get the biometrics? If the public finds out the real Jeffrey is in the green zone and we're using a placeholder, the entire catalog is worthless." This was the first confirmation that something was deeply, dangerously wrong. The green zone, a term never heard before, was suddenly the most searched phrase on the planet. But then, the situation took a turn into the truly macabre. Kodak Black, the Pompano legend, was spotted at a late-night diner in South Florida just 2 days after the leak. A fan, shivering with excitement, pulled out his phone to record a quick clip. We've seen this before, right? But this time it was different. In the footage, which has since been scrubbed from the internet but was analyzed by 50 Cent's team, the man who looks exactly like Kodak Black stops mid-sentence. His eyes roll back into his head, and his arm begins to twitch in a repetitive, mechanical motion. He wasn't blinking. He wasn't breathing. For 45 seconds, the super gremlin looked like a piece of hardware that had just hit a fatal error. The fan is heard screaming, "Kodak! Yak! You okay, bro?" No response. Just a cold, blank stare into the void. The internet reactions were a tidal wave of betrayal and terror. Users on Reddit began a pixel-by-pixel hunt, comparing tattoos on the rappers' necks. They found that a specific birthmark on Young Thug's left temple, a mark he's had since childhood, is missing in every single high-definition courtroom live stream from 2025. One top comment on a viral thread read, "They didn't just lock them up. They erased them and replaced them with Sims so they could keep selling us the struggle. This is biological slavery." The anger was palpable. People felt like they had been mourning and supporting ghosts while the real artists were being exploited in the shadows. And just when you think you've reached the peak of the madness, 50 Cent drops the first shocking twist that changes the entire nature of the game. It wasn't just that these rappers were replaced. The twist is that the real artists aren't just sitting in a luxury jail, they're being used as biological servers. 50 Cent leaked a grainy, infrared photo of what appears to be a high-security laboratory in the rural woods of Georgia, a site known as Black Site Alpha. In the photo, you can see men who look remarkably like our favorite rappers, but they are hooked up to massive neurological interfaces. The revelation is bone-chilling. The industry isn't just using clones to sit in jail. They are using the real artists' brains to power an AI engine that writes authentic, hip-hop lyrics for the next generation of industry plants. The clones in the courtroom are just biological proxies designed to absorb the legal heat and the prison time, while the real genius is being milked like a battery in a secret basement. 50 Cent source, a former site security officer, claimed that the young thug we see in court is a biological shell with no consciousness of its own. It's being remote-controlled via a satellite link. The betrayal is total. The fans realize that the emotional letters from jail, the Free Thug merch, and the pardon of Kodak Black were all part of a scripted narrative to keep the public from looking too closely at the technology being perfected under their noses. The hip-hop culture, the most influential movement in the world, has been hijacked by a biotech conglomerate that views rappers not as humans, but as product models. The federal government, the labels, and the private prison systems are all in on it. They created a loophole where you can convict a clone and keep the human for research and development. As the section ends, 50 Cent releases one final image, a certificate of disposal for a biological unit that looks suspiciously like a well-known rapper who died in a shootout 3 years ago. The implication is clear. If you malfunction, they don't just fix you, they delete you. But wait, if the real young thug is in Black Site Alpha, who is the person 50 Cent just spotted on a private yacht in the Mediterranean? The conspiracy is deeper than the ocean, and the next reveal will make you question if anyone in the world of fame is actually made of flesh and blood. Stay where you are, because the second twist is about to break the internet's back. The digital firestorm didn't just grow, it mutated. By February 22nd, the clone theory had officially bypassed the fringe corners of the internet and landed straight on the desks of mainstream news anchors, but the industry's response was a chilling, coordinated silence. That silence was shattered when 50 Cent uploaded a grainy, high-speed thermal video titled The Extraction. In the footage, a blacked-out medical transport van is seen leaving a side entrance of the Fulton County Jail at 2 a.m. As the van passes a security camera, a figure is visible through the tinted glass. A man who looks exactly like Young Thug, but he isn't wearing a jumpsuit. He's wearing an oxygen mask and a sophisticated neurological headpiece, glowing with a faint, rhythmic blue light. The caption from 50 Cent sent the internet into a state of cardiac arrest. They're not just replacing them, they're syncing them. The one in the cell is the hardware. The one in the van is the processor. Wake up, the game is a simulation. This was the spark that ignited the escalation. Within 3 hours, a leaked internal memo from a global biometric security firm, the same one that manages airport facial recognition, surfaced on X. The memo, flagged top secret, priority alpha, detailed a recurring data desync in the inmate identified as Bill Kahan Capri, also known as Kodak Black. The document claimed that the subject had failed 3 consecutive retinal scans because his iris patterns were fluctuating, something that is biologically impossible unless the subject is a synthetic construct struggling to maintain a stable cellular structure. Thread 1/12. We just ran the numbers. The Kodak who did that interview last week has a voice frequency that hits 440 Hz perfectly. Every time. Human vocal cords have natural variance. Only an AI-tuned vocal box hits a perfect pitch consistently. 50 Cent is right. We're watching a biobot. The industry backlash was a masterpiece of desperation. A joint statement from the big 3 record labels was issued, calling 50 Cent a danger to public order and accusing him of using AI-altered footage to destabilize the legal system. But the public wasn't listening to the suits anymore. They were looking at the glitch clips. Thousands of fans began posting the handshake glitch, a clip from a recent courtroom live stream where Young Thug goes to daps up his lawyer, but his hand passes through the lawyer's sleeve in a way that looks like a frame rate drop in a video game. It wasn't a camera error. It was a physical desynchronization. 50 Cent's private investigators released a follow-up report claiming that the courtroom proxies are actually 3D printed biological shells, controlled via a 6G satellite link from the black site Alpha we discussed earlier. But then came the second shocking reveal, the one that made the clone theory look like child's play. 50 Cent went live on Instagram, sitting in a dark office, holding a physical manila envelope. "You think it's just about the ones in jail?" he asked, a predatory smile on his face. "Check the obituaries of the rappers who died in the last 5 years." 50 Cent then flashed a series of death certificates for rappers who had supposedly passed away in tragic street violence. But under a black light, the certificates revealed a hidden watermark, asset reclaimed for biointegration. The twist was a total soul crusher. The theory now suggests that the industry doesn't just clone the ones in jail, they stage the deaths of the most talented icons to reclaim their physical bodies for the lab. They tell the world the rapper is gone so they can take the real human to the green zone without anyone looking for them.
Why?
Because a dead legend's new music, produced by AI, is 200% more profitable than a living artist's work. The cliffhanger dropped like a guillotine. 50 Cent revealed that he has a living witness, a rapper everyone believes has been dead for 3 years, who is ready to go on camera and show the serial number branded into the back of his neck. 50 Cent ended the stream with a final, haunting sentence. "I'm not just exposing the clones in the cells. I'm going to show you who's really buried in those famous graves." The world is now holding its breath. If the people in the graves aren't the real artists, and the people in the jails are clones, then who is actually running the rap game? The next update promises the gravesite DNA test results, and if they match 50's claims, the music industry won't just be exposed, it will be dismantled. Stay tuned, because the dead are about to start talking. The fallout from 50 Cent's clone dossier didn't just trend, it paralyzed the global digital infrastructure. By the morning of March 3rd, the hashtag the great rapper placement had surpassed 4 billion impressions. The internet is no longer a place for debate. It is a war zone of fractured reality. In the streets of Atlanta and the housing projects of Pompano Beach, the atmosphere is heavy with a toxic mix of grief and fury. Fans who spent years writing letters to Young Thug in jail and Kodak Black during his stints are now burning their merchandise in massive street bonfires. The reactions coming in right now are unlike anything we've seen in the history of entertainment. People aren't just mad, they feel spiritually violated. On TikTok, a viral video from a fan who visited Young Thug in prison just last week has gained 40 million views. She claims that when she looked into his eyes, she didn't see a human. She saw a static-filled screen. She said, "I told him a secret only he and I knew from 2016, and he just stared at me and asked if I wanted a signed photo. It was a script. It was a machine." Social media is exploding with comparison threads. Users are juxtaposing 50 Cent's leaked biometric data with every interview clip from the last 6 months. The division is brutal. On X, celebrity reactions are pouring in and the industry is split down the middle. Drake reportedly posted a black square with a single emoji, a test tube, before deleting it 30 seconds later. Cardi B went on a frantic Instagram live, screaming at her camera, "Y'all think this is a game?" 50 isn't lying. I've seen things in those studio basements that would make your blood run cold. They tried to map my vocal cords last year. The industry backlash, however, is a cold, calculated machine. A leaked internal memo from a major distribution giant surfaced on a whistleblower site, labeled Project Damage Control, the 50 Cent problem. The memo suggests that the labels are preparing to sue 50 Cent for cultural terrorism and are threatening to remove his entire catalog from streaming platforms if he doesn't retract the clone claims. But the fans? They've already picked a side. Mainstream news outlets like CNN and Fox are struggling to keep up. One news anchor was caught on a hot mic during a commercial break saying, "If we report the DNA mismatch on Kodak, the DOJ will pull our broadcasting license." This slip-up confirmed the public's worst fear. The government is the landlord of the lab. Supporters of the clone theory are calling for a total boycott of all new music released by incarcerated artists, claiming every cent goes toward funding the black site research. Meanwhile, skeptics and Industry shills are trying to gaslight the public, claiming 50 Cent is just promoting a new season of Power. But the evidence, the ear cartilage mismatches, the handshake glitch, the perfect pitch vocal frequencies is too loud to ignore. The division has reached a breaking point. A famous hip-hop podcaster broke down in tears on air, saying, "If Thugger isn't real, then the last 10 years of my life were a lie." They didn't just take the man, they took the soul of the culture. The energy is explosive. People are demanding a live, televised DNA test for every major rapper currently behind bars. But here is the statement that is fueling even more controversy. A high-level deep state insider posted on a secure forum that the clones aren't just in the cells, they've already started replacing the rappers who are touring. The implication? You might have paid $500 for a concert ticket last night to watch a biological 3D print perform. The trust is gone. The industry is a house of cards in a hurricane. And 50 Cent? He just sat back and posted a photo of himself sipping cognac with a caption, "I told y'all, the truth is a bitter drink. Get your glasses ready for the finale." But the most terrifying reaction didn't come from a fan or a rapper. It came from a source inside the White House. Wait until you hear what they said about the presidential pardon and the clone that took its place. The final reveal is coming up next. The digital landscape didn't just crack. It shattered into a million jagged pieces of undeniable terror. As the world waited for a retraction, for a gotcha moment, or for 50 Cent to admit it was all a promotion for Power, he did the unthinkable. At exactly 11:50 p.m., 50 Cent went live from an undisclosed safe house. The camera was shaky, the lighting was a harsh, industrial red, and behind him sat a man in a medical gown, his face obscured by deep shadows. You thought the clones were just sitting in cells? You thought this was just about RICO trials and prison sentences? You have no idea how deep the laboratory goes. 50 Cent just pulled the final veil back, and what's behind it will haunt your dreams for the next decade. The man sitting behind 50 Cent? He just showed the camera a property of federal biotech, stamp-branded into his surgical scar. And he sounds exactly like a rapper the world buried in 2022. The final shocking revelation is a total reality breaker. 50 Cent revealed a leaked life cycle ledger from the elite handlers who run the music industry. The ledger doesn't just list clones, it lists expiration dates. The theory is that these biological proxies, the ones we see as Young Thug and Kodak Black, have a shelf life of exactly 5 years before their cellular structure begins to liquidize. The twist? 50 Cent claims that the recent, strange behavior we've seen from incarcerated rappers isn't just a glitch, it's the beginning of a mass recall. The industry isn't just replacing them once, they are cycling through versions of our icons. Version 1.0 was the street legend. Version 2.0 was the industry puppet. And version 3.0? It's the one currently sitting in the courtroom, struggling to remember its own name because the neural upload was corrupted. But wait, it gets even more sinister. 50 Cent's living witness leaned into the light for a split second, and the internet went into a collective seizure. The facial markers matched a rapper who died 3 years ago in a robbery gone wrong. 50 Cent whispered into the mic. They didn't kill him. They staged the hit so they could take the original source code to the green zone. The funeral was for a shell. The man is still a prisoner of the rhythm. This means every posthumous album, every new verse from a fallen legend, is an AI. It's the real human, trapped in a neural link, being forced to create until their brain finally gives out. We aren't just watching clones in jail, we are watching a global slave trade of human consciousness. The cliffhanger dropped like a nuclear winter. 50 Cent revealed that he has the GPS coordinates for Site Omega, the central processing hub where the originals are kept. He ended the stream with a haunting, low-voice warning. I'm going there. If this feed cuts out and I don't post for 24 hours, you'll know that the Matrix caught up to me. But look at the man in the cell tomorrow. Look at his left eye. If it's dilated and the right one isn't, that's the signal that the override has begun. Is 50 Cent about to storm a federal black site? Is the man behind him really who we think it is? The world is looking at every rapper with a magnifying glass. The trust is dead. The icons are assets. And the real? Ones are screaming from the shadows. The drama isn't over, it's just moved from the courtroom to the laboratory. 50 Cent's next update is titled, The Resurrection Files. You better pray your favorite rapper is actually made of flesh, because the reset button is about to be pressed. The 24-hour countdown has started. 50 Cent is on the move. And the industry is panicking because their product is starting to remember who they really are. Do not close your eyes. The biggest reveal in human history is dropping next. The Matrix is officially glitching, fam. Now I need to hear from you. Look at the footage. Check the biometric ear alignment on the man in that cell. Is that the real Young Thug, or are we watching a biological simulation? Drop a reel or clone in the comments right now to cast your vote. Don't let the industry gaslight us. Smash that like button to support the resistance and subscribe with all notifications on. 50 Cent's 24-hour countdown for the Site Omega reveal has started, and you do not want to be left in the dark when the resurrection files drop. The truth is coming. Are you ready?